Now, Aviwe Mtila has been looking into that as well in terms of the future of the ANC from a generational perspective. Let's take a listen.
The ANC acknowledges that for it to remain relevant for the current and future generations, there has to be other generations that come through.
A rhetoric that you'll hear from many ANC leaders as the party gears up for its elective conference, a generational mix in its leadership. But the 16 candidates vying for the party's top positions paint a different picture. 70-year-old Cyril Ramaphosa and 66-year-old Aviwe Mtila are frontrunners for the position of party president. 61-year-old Paul Mashatile is the leading candidate for deputy president.
It seems like it is the typical ANC that does not want to incorporate the young people.
Others gunning for positions in the top 6 include 65-year-old Stan Mathabata, 59-year-old Nomvula Mokonyane, 51-year-old Fikile Mbalula, and 67-year-old Gwede Mantashe.
Since post-apartheid South Africa, there's been a recycle of the same type of leader. And this type of leader has really not only just caused a decay in their own political party, but a decay in the livelihoods of South Africans as a whole.
If you look at the ANC's history over time, there's always been a transition from one generation to another. So the Pixleys, to some extent, and the Kalatas, they handed over the organization to Kuma, who then handed over the organization, well, not handed over, but was properly contested by the Mandelas and the Tambos. The Mandelas and the Tambos then bring us to a new generation of the Mbegis and the Zumas. And that generation, by and large, is still there to this day. 30 years, 60 years on, it's still the same generation that is at the helm of the ANC. And that is what is currently quite problematic, because we don't have a transition into a new generation.
We agree that any organization that is future-proof, that wants to remain relevant, must look at the issues of succession. And succession also includes the younger generation. We are also mindful that come 2024, the voter population in our country will be also consisting of a significant proportion of young people.
The Youth League has also pronounced on who it wants to lead the party.
As the ANC Youth League, we've always said that we believe that you need a new crop of leadership that should emerge at all levels of the ANC.
The task team has endorsed 66-year-old Aviwe Mtila to lead the party come December, while being deputized by 61-year-old Paul Mashatile.
The Youth League has constantly become the watchdog of the old guard, where it's not the raw young lions bravery decision that we as communities are crying out for, where we are backing, where the Youth League and young leaders in the Youth League are backing up leaders that have alleged corruption cases hanging over their heads. And you will find that just all the nominations are people or leaders that are stained with corruption.
I don't think any young person, sane young person, can really identify with what the NYTT has pronounced, because one, it's ahistorical, and never in the history of the ANC Youth League have they not supported graduates of the Youth League itself to then ascend into the helm of the ANC. In fact, that's why they say the ANC Youth League is a preparatory school, there we go, for the ANC. So yeah, that pronouncement, the logic of it, I can sit here and say we're not privy to the logic of it.
I would accept the criticism that it is odd for an ANC Youth League to go into its meeting and in the top 6, by and large, come out with the kind of makeup that it does insofar as youth leadership is concerned. And I think that's a concern that we share. And I think that only means that we need to do more introspection as a structure, because we can't preach one thing and then do the complete opposite.
One political analyst believes the ANC's youth is no longer being groomed for leadership.
What the ANC of old did was take young people and send them into various schools. Your Thabo Mbegis went and did economics, in as much as we criticize them now and say we do not see what what's the value of their of their qualifications. Your Tito Mbowenis, yes, we criticize them now, but that's what the ANC of old did. This current ANC, we do not know what is it doing with young people in terms of making sure that it capacitates them.
Another analyst believes younger members are being taught the ways of older leadership.
We are seeing that a lot of the old guard is not training the youth for a future that is healthy for South Africa, but a lot of it is training the youth to just mimic everything that the old guard is doing now. The corruption, the holding on to power, the factional battles between each other that are unhealthy.
I think the ANC can do more, and I think the ANC can be more deliberate in ensuring that it prepares the next generation of leaders.
As the ANC gears up to elect its leadership, what are the voices on the ground saying on the type of leader needed to take the country forward?
I respect ANC. I mean, they fought for our struggle, but I think now the struggle has changed. It's different, and we need that kind of change also. If ANC can't give us that change, I think we need to look elsewhere. You know?
I'm looking forward for a new generation, because those ANC people has failed us. The country is going down, the ESCOM and everything. Nothing is working.
I think we should leave Ramaphosa to lead as it is right now, because he's trying to stabilize this country and he's good in economics.
I think the country is ready for fresh ideas and new leadership. I think we've tried the old leadership, but it's not working.
Having seen for the last 20 years, 24 years or 25 years, ANC hasn't delivered so much. So somewhere, somehow, I think the black masses are disappointed.
It bleeds me to see where the ANC currently is at. It's led by old people. It's led by people that, unfortunately, they are not informed by issues of 21st centuries.
New brains, new thinking, new people.
Piri agrees that modern times and the demographic of the country need fresh minds.
We need renewal, sure, in terms of the characteristics of members, in terms of the characteristics of the ANC, but even the personnel, even the generation at the helm, is a generation that is a UDF generation / even an exile generation, right at the helm of the ANC. We're now in a society where, we are speaking about the Gen Z generation, millennials. Society is completely different. We're speaking about a society that understands instant gratification. And then if you look at the leadership there, they are in a completely different realm. So there is that disconnect and that disjuncture currently within the ANC. In fact, one of the statistics I've read earlier today was that the population of people who are 80 plus is at about 10%. That's a lot of people in the NEC currently.
The biggest voting demographic in the country is youth. If you look at other political parties in the country, they are by and large led by youth. And I don't think that the ANC, or not youth rather, but younger people, I don't think that the ANC has a shortage of really brilliant younger people that could change the fortunes of the African National Congress.
While there are growing calls for a generational mix swayed towards younger leadership to emerge at the conference, Chingila believes the so-called old guard will not willingly let go of the leadership ropes.
Politics in itself has been the roadmap and the route to enrichment in South Africa. And everyone is waiting for their turn. But the old guard also doesn't want to let go because of the comforts politics has awarded them. The comforts in society, the comforts in the fiscal comforts as well. So there's a lot of reasons why people hold on to power. It's not only just the power itself that has made them comfortable, and that have also made them the very lazy and unimaginative leaders that they are in society.
This ANC conference now that we're going into is a watershed moment for the ANC. Because if the ANC comes out the very same way it is now, post this NASREC conference, and it comes out exactly the same way it is, then it will be very difficult to argue that this is an organization that broadly represents entire society, at least the majority of the South African population. It will be very difficult to argue that this is an organization that can inspire hope, because it will tell us that this is an organization that's stuck in its ways.
Aviwe Mtila, Johannesburg.